Spark the Electric Jester is one of the most underrated 2D platformers to date. Among its most outstanding attributes are the amazing art design this game has, the outstanding and satisfying gameplay, but most importantly, its amazing soundtrack. This game had a total of 6 music producers to create and compose such an incredible and memorable OST for the players to hear while playing along with the amazing gameplay. Among some of the best songs featured in the game are the level themes, which of course are the main attraction of the game for a platformer of this type. So that's what this video is for, ranking the top 10 level themes found in Spark the Electric Jester. In my own opinion, of course. Tell me in the comment section below which ones I placed too low or too high, and tell me which one is your favorite song. Without further ado, let's get started. For number 10 on this list, we have Mare Desert, composed by Andy Tunstall, one of the composers for the game. A quick word to describe this song would be just iconic. First introduced in Lake Feppard's gameplay trailer 2 for Spark the Electric Jester, the first thing you hear for this amazing song are those beautiful guitar riffs that just send you flying into excitement. And as the song continues, you just feel this buildup of height, as if the song itself is encouraging you to move on further into your adventure. Some pretty great stuff. And that flute solo, right in the middle of the bridge of the song, is just so beautifully composed. The instrumentation of the song is also quite unique for a platform game. I'd never really seen the utilization of Chinese percussion instruments mixed with the tambourine of all things to create such an exotic sounding theme for a desert level in a platformer. And an indie platformer at that too. I know it's probably disappointing to see this on the number 10 spot, but the songs of this game are just so well made and so good to listen to that I can't help but just put this at number 10 because of all the other amazing songs. But make no mistake, Spark the Electric Jester's OST is chock full of just these amazing compositions that sometimes rival AAA soundtracks. For number 9, we have the Network Coast theme, the second stage in the game. This song was composed by the Paul Brothers, and no, I'm not talking about the YouTube celebrities, but the actual music artist called the Paul Brothers. As the second stage in the game, the difference between the music from Flower Mountain to Network Coast is astounding. It is at this point in the game where they really start to utilize the guitar riff sound that will define the Spark series going forward. I know it is no secret that the Spark the Electric Jester series is highly inspired from Sonic the Hedgehog, and for good reason. The music in those games are quite mesmerizing as well, and I can totally see why Lake Feppard would want to imitate their style, and oh boy does he get the right people to do it. The theme for Network Coast is this fast-paced, Caribbean-sounding tune that has heavy guitar use and amazing percussion in the background. Just from immediately hearing the sound of those percussion instruments, you can tell the song has a pumped up nature to it, and that it's pushing the player to constantly move faster through the level. But as you approach the bridge of the song, you can slowly hear it shift into a more vacation-like feeling, and that's when the guitar riffs start to build up to a more sincere-like feeling. Almost as if the song itself is telling the player that they should chill out and relax more as they go through this fairly easy standard level before they get to the more hard stuff featured in the game. Being a beach level, it is no surprise that this song has such a laid-back tune to it, but also keeps that fast pace in order to keep the player on their toes and knowing that they need to be going for speed above all else. Perfectly mimicking the Sonic style of music that is so well defined in Spark the Electric Jester. An amazing composition indeed, and we're still only at number 9. For number 8 on the list, we have Sunfire Forest, composed by Funk Fiction, a highly underrated music producer. This song is just the epitome of fun. It perfectly mimics that classic Sonic style of music that Lake Feppard is trying to imitate so brilliantly in this game. I feel like this techno wave style of music fits the Spark series as well, especially with those synths in the background as you can hear the percussion tingle, almost as if you took a traditional Christmas song and mixed it with the fast-paced nature of Sonic music. The chimes that you can hear in the background as well are so well placed in time, as well as the crescendos that are used to transition between the bridge and the main melody. Sunfire Forest's theme is a perfect, outstanding piece that is used to create a brilliant, fun contrast before the last two levels of the game. Among other things that makes this song so unique is that its instrumentation is unique from any other song in the game, which makes it stand out even more. I was honestly so astounded by how delightful it was to listen to on my first playthrough. It is honestly crazy how well made the song is, and even crazier that there are 6 other entries above it that are somehow better. Okay, for number 6 on this list, we have Smog City, composed by James Ladino. Picture this, you just got out of Network Coast and you go straight into Smog Sewer, an even more chilled and laid-back theme with a bit of opposition with offbeat tunes. Then you make your way to Smog City, where it brings back up the pace and the high-speed action music. This nice contrast between high-paced, adrenaline-fueled music mixed with the laid-back nature in between the songs is what makes Spark the Electric Jester's OST so satisfying to listen to. Whether they did it intentional or not, I love the brilliant contrast between the themes of each level. They do well to make this soundtrack more cohesive and sound more exhilarating, and Smog City is a theme that continues this legacy with its high-paced synthesizers and amazing percussion instrumentation. I don't know what that electronic instrument they constantly use for the themes to give it that pixelated 16-bit feel, but it is amazing to listen to, as well as those fun little nods to other James Ladino soundtracks that he's made for Lake Pepper. I'm talking about you, Titanic Tower. For those of you who may be confused to what I am talking about, you can hear in the bridge of the song a little nod to Titanic Tower, a stage from Sonic before the sequel. These are fan games that Lake Pepper worked on before becoming an indie developer for Spark the Electric Jester. James Ladino also worked on the OST for those fan games, which is probably why he and Lake Pepper are such close friends. You see, it's little fun facts like that that make me appreciate the Spark the Electric Jester series even more, and also what makes me enjoy the soundtracks for these games so much, since they obviously have such love and care put into them. For number 6, we have The Elegant Lunar Bass, composed by Funk Fiction once again, and performed a violin by Andy Stunner. Let me just say right off the bat, that is at this point in the list where the songs of Spark the Electric Jester become some of my favorite gaming songs of all time. Lunar Bass right here is probably the most emotional piece in the game, for good reasons. I mean, just listen to that violin in the entire song. I personally didn't think it was possible to make pixelated instrumentation in electronic songs sound this emotional and sound this high quality, but man, the composition of the song is just so well made. I don't know what to say. It's just, you have to listen to yourself to see why it's so good. One of the main pointers, however, is its slow build up to the climax of the song. You start off with this extremely downtrodden beat with the violin silently playing in the background until it slowly starts to build up the pace. Much like the level itself, this is possibly the lowest point in the game that Spark, the main character, will ever face, as he just met with the main villain, Freon. So going through this underground base full of lava and this mysterious cave where you just see murdered robots is such a great aesthetic and thematic toning. I cannot stress to you how much of a genius decision it was to make the first act of this level completely empty of any enemies. It really just builds to that tone and feeling that something sinister is happening, and that the beginning portion of this game is over and it's time for the Jester to get serious. All of that feeling is conveyed through this amazing theme. A theme, I might add, came right after Mare Desert, probably one of the most energetic stages in the entire game. Hats off to all the composers for this game. This song should be played in a symphony, and I mean that with the utmost honesty. Simply gorgeous. Okay, it is this point in the video where I have to say the top 5 list of this video features some of the best composition songs out of any indie game franchise that I have heard of. So for number 5, we have Karana Forest theme. I'm not gonna lie, it took a while for this theme to grow in me. Its soft melody and timid nature really didn't appear to my senses on first hearing. But I gotta say, after listening it for a while, especially at nighttime and during studying sessions, it really grew on me how well made and high quality this song is. Being composed by Funk Fiction once again and performed by Andy Stutter, the same violinist for Lunar Bass, I have to say this is probably one of their best songs they've ever made. That violinist, man, he is so talented with that instrument. It's honestly insane how he would work for a video game instead of going to an actual symphony. But hey, I guess that just goes to show you that video game music can be just as high quality as ones you hear in real life. But onto the theme itself, I love how this song starts off with such a calm and silent atmosphere, and then slowly builds up to that high-paced nature we're all so used to in the game. Like I said before, that contrast that is in the soundtrack really adds to the cohesiveness of this entire game, and since this comp came right after Litoria Bay, one of the weaker tracks in the game I might add, it is really satisfying to just experience how Karana Forest's song really just builds up to this amazing climax. And on those notes about how high quality the song is, you can hear the filtered layers of the composition throughout the entire track, between the film grain in between the bridge of the song and the amazing melody played by the flute and some of the techno-based synths. It's really just so complex and you can hear all of it and it sounds amazing. Definitely worthy in the top 5 spot of this list, and let me tell you, the songs only get better from here. For number 4 on the spot, we have Flower Mountain Canyon, composed by James Ladino once again. Now I'm gonna go on and say that this used to be my favorite song out of the entire soundtrack, probably because I just listened to it the most, and it was the most promoted for this game's material. Spark the Electric Jester is a pretty niche franchise as a whole, so let me tell you, when I hear other YouTubers using its soundtrack for the video music in their YouTube videos, you know it must be doing something right. It was this song that made me realize just how beautiful 16-bit instruments can be for a soundtrack if composed correctly, and let me tell you, this song is composed correctly. From its bombastic opening with that amazing percussion solo, to its slow build-up with the synthesizers getting louder and louder, until it finally bursts into an array of satisfying instrumentation and amazing melody. I always had the feeling of ocean surfing whenever I listen to this melody because of the way the synths are composed within the song. That wavy feel as they build up slowly from the beginning of the song and the 8-bit tracks in the background. You can hear them slowly tiptoeing through the bridge of the song as they add brilliant contrast to the main melody, which is played by a violin-sounding instrument. A common instrument I'm now noticing the composers like to add into the songs for this game. Not that I'm complaining or anything. This song just screams fun and is such a joy to listen to. I'm quite astounded that this is the 3rd song you hear in the game, as that is just a testament to how confident the music producers for this game were that all the songs would end up being. And let me tell you, they were right, because this game's OST is simply fantastic if you weren't already able to tell from the music I've portrayed in this video. Simply amazing stuff. For number 3 on the list, we have Caria Valley, composed by Andy Tunstall and performed by Blaze Collard on the drum set. I'm telling you, man, where do they get these amazing musicians from? It's insane that they would put all this talent into working on an indie game. No offense, by the way, I'm just saying it's insane. Anyways, Caria Valley, as a stage and as a theme, needs no introduction into this list. It's one of the best songs in the game, just for a multitude of reasons. The stage itself comes right after Lunar Bass, and I've already explained why that's a masterpiece of a song, but this composition, it just takes it to the next level. With the amazing percussion and that amazing piano solo at the bridge of the song, as it slowly builds that fast-paced nature that we are so acquainted with up to this point in the Spark series. Like I said before, the contrast between this song and Lunar Bass makes the soundtrack more cohesive and so satisfying to listen to. I cannot stress enough how happy my ears were when I finally got to this point, whenever just listening to a run of the soundtrack casually. And hey, don't forget about that guitar solo in between the bridge too. I'm telling you, man. This game and soundtrack is criminally underrated when it comes to stuff like that. And I also feel like this song has the best transition into its looping phase with that beautiful instrument that I cannot for the life of me figure out what it is. It sounds like a mixture between the flute and a violin, but it does a really good job of connecting all the pieces together and fully completing this track as a whole. This song sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Sonic OST, which is one of the best compliments I can give to an indie game that is heavily inspired from the Sonic series. Last but not least about the song is that the 16-bit synthesizers still make an appearance and they sound as great as ever. I'm telling you, that instrument that they keep using throughout the game's soundtrack is the leading instrument that defines this game series as a whole, and it is a very good one at that. Overall, like I said at the beginning, Caria Valley is a song that needs no introduction and no explanation. It's just simply that good. Every Spark fan who's played through it knows that. Number 2, Sunset Heights. Another amazing composition by Funk Fiction, and another masterpiece of a song that is way too underrated. This video should have way more than 82,000 views, I'm sorry. Now this is another one of those songs that I had to listen to for a while in order to get used to it, but after you get past those first couple of playthroughs, you really just appreciate just how calming and atmospheric this song truly is. This is possibly the chillest song in the entire OST, and it still keeps up that quality with the fast-paced nature of the game. And I don't know if they have the same drummer from Caria Valley, but the percussionist for the song is simply incredible. The song almost mixes genres with its trap-like beat and that amazing 8-bit synthesizer once again showing its face in the OST. And that slow build-up from the beginning riffs at the beginning of the song really just makes your body want to relax and chill out to the mood. I gotta say, this Sunset Heights is far greater than the Sunset Heights found in Sonic Forces, and that song isn't even that bad, it's just that this one is simply incredible. One last thing that I love about the song is that its transition between the bridge, where it feels like you're submerged underwater, with the filtering of the melody in between the loops of the song, simply feels immaculate to listen to. I am now starting to realize why a majority of the Kickstarter funds for Spark the Electric Jester went into the sound design and music composition for the game. Before I talk about number 1, I just want to mention that on this channel you can find a Spark the Electric Jester playlist full of the best songs from the series right here. It would mean a lot to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe in this video, as I plan on making a lot more Spark the Electric Jester content. Without further ado, let's continue on with number 1. Now, for a good bit of people watching this video, this might come as a surprise, as really, the number 1 spot on this list is the last level of the game, but let me tell you, this is unequivocally the best song in Spark the Electric Jester. fitting that the best song comes at the final part of the game. When designing a final level for the game, you wanted to encapsulate the end of the game. You want it to feel like it's the ending to your adventure, that all the skills you've learned up to this point will be put to the utmost extreme test, and a song that accompanies it needs to feel that way. It needs to feel intense, feel extreme, and Metagraph Fortress is, of course, that song for this game. It encapsulates everything about the OST that makes it so great. The great contrast for each of the songs in the levels, the amazing synthesizers and 8-bit instrumentation, and of course, the amazing bridge that builds up to the final climax of the song that is as intense as ever and sends your body bursting with energy. This song and composition somehow simultaneously feels devious in nature, but also extremely encouraging to the player, as if it's saying, "You've made it, now finish the job." A statement that can be directed at the developer, Lake Feppard, as well, I might add, as this is the final stage of the first indie game he's ever made in his life. That pressure on him to finalize this game and hopefully make it a success was probably felt through the song and through this gameplay, because man, this level is ruthless. So many enemies and so many cruel placements for death to occur. It is truly the final fortress of Spark the Electric Jester. And as for the song itself, what else can I say except it is perfect and encapsulates everything that is needed for a final stage level in any video game. If it's one thing that you take away from this video, it's that the soundtrack for this game is not only brilliantly made, but is also criminally underrated. If you somehow haven't listened to that soundtrack but clicked on this video, I demand you go listen to it right away. I'm joking, of course. But seriously though, the OST for this game series is way too high quality for it to not get the amount of attention it deserves. And hopefully this video gives it the attention it deserves, as I'm a pretty big fan of this fairly niche gaming franchise. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you share it with any other 12 of us Spark the Electric Jester fans, and I hope to see you in the next time where I will cover Spark the Electric Jester 2's OST. That game also boasts a criminally underrated soundtrack that people should listen to more. So until then, I'll see you next time.